Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premiere episode of Three Dudes, One Band. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we're doing it, baby.
Yeah.
What is Three Dudes, One Band?
Do tell. I like the name of it.
Yeah, it kind of fits. Three guys, and wait, hold on. There's a cliffhanger here. It's three guys who over 3 decades ago forged a brotherhood and a bond over absolute passion and love for hard rock and metal music. So let me tell you, soon after I met these two schmucks back in 1988, we'd get together weekend after weekend and bro out while blasting the latest heavy CD as we killed 1 or 2 Coors Party balls. Remember those?
Coors Party balls.
In a single night, mind you.
Yeah, hell yeah, because I heard it expired at midnight, so we had to get rid of it.
Yes, indeed. That was the rumor back then.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the three of us, we'd have epic conversations, comparisons, debates, all about these things, all rock and metal. So here we are, 32 years later, and nothing's changed.
That's right. I mean, how many nights did we spend drinking all those Coors Lights, watching MTV Headbangers Ball and everything, and saying, that sucks, that's better than that one. Just having a damn good time because, man, music is the closest thing to time travel, and we're going to go way back, ain't we, guys?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I wouldn't change my age for a thing. We lived through those glory years of music, and we're letting it live on for this.
Absolutely. And I think for those of you who don't know us, I think we should probably tell who the three dudes are. Why don't you go first, Dave?
So I was going to say we have so many bands and so much to talk about. So what we do here on Three Dudes, One Band is to take one band at a time.
Yep.
We discuss what each of their records meant to us. We rate each record from least favorite to best. And then somewhere in there, we squeeze out our top 2 songs from each. So
go, baby.
To that band, let's introduce ourselves. My name's Dave Deasy. Been a hard rock metal lover my whole life. I have a background in radio. As a matter of fact, I created and hosted the very first metal show ever in the IE of California. I was at KCAL FM in Redlands, California for 6 years, hosted the Metal Edge, very, very, very good show. Just packed with music that the IE wasn't accustomed to hearing on a regular basis, and was a lot of fun. And the show was a great success. I was there for 6 years, way back in the day, and then moved on to X1039 down the street. Little more alternative. Did middays, I did evenings, and also later on co-hosted a show called Extreme X, which was a new metal show, more current stuff. But then again, we mixed in some old stuff, great stuff, old Metallica, old Korn, old Slayer, stuff like that. And so me and these two guys, you'll get to know them in just a second, but we still talk all the time, and we're always doing band comparisons and talking this or that and talking about back in the day. Matter of fact, speaking of back in the day, and even now, I think some of you might know this guy. His name is Jimbo.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Dave. Yes. Dave showed a little bit of our background, and I've known Jason well since he took the slip and slide out of mama's uterus, And I wish we would have did this when we were a little bit younger, but the technology wasn't there, so we got to do it. I got to do it with old man readers right here, so I got to be honest with you. I think Jason and we've loved rock and roll for the beginning almost, because our mom and dad, they were kind of rockers. They liked the Beatles. They liked Bob Seger, bands like that. And I got pulled out of the mall to join the rock and roll ball, so to speak. I got to rock the IE for about 25 years, drink a lot of beers with you, go to hundreds of shows with my brother, with Dave, with a lot of you. And we are excited to explore this thing that we just decided to call Three Dudes, One Band. And I actually got to fill in for Dave on his radio show because he called in sick. And that was my very first, or you're probably going to a concert, I bet.
I was sick.
Okay. But I got to host the Metal Edge on that radio station that he got to do. And that was my very first solo performance on the radio. I've been with the Morning Stiffy. That's probably the biggest show that some of you may know. It was a damn good time. I thank you for your ears for all those years, baby. And more than excited to do this little fun discussion of Three Dudes, One Band. And without further ado, to my, I guess my left is my baby brosive, Jason, right there.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, interweb. My name is Jason. I, unlike my two older cohorts here, much older than me, I did not work in terrestrial radio, but like my older brother said, I got introduced, yes, our mom and dad, we had a record player right in the living room. Underneath we had them stored, had the record store. There's the Beatles, Bob Seger, Rod Stewart. So I got introduced to that. Then luckily, my older brother, Jim, had a great collection of records. And I was introduced to Aerosmith, Kiss. And then obviously Van Halen and everything like that. So I credit all of my earlier influences to my older brother, Jim. And like I said, it's been nothing but badass ever since.
I love it. All right, Dave, I think it's that time to reveal. We met the Three Dudes. What's the one band?
Ooh, well, I was hoping everyone out there would kind of pick up a hint. I don't know if you can see the foreground there. Can you see that clearly?
That is the Mighty Van Halen, baby.
I actually went through my garage and went through all the poster rolls, and they actually preserved all my early 80s posters very well.
Nice.
Put it out, had to put it up. Welcome to the sort of the new man cave here.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. You got a fern behind you.
1982, right here behind you.
Yeah.
In front of your naked, steaming eyes.
Boom.
Where have you heard that?
Many
Oh,
times.
and of course.
Sporting it. I like it.
We're here to talk about all things Van Halen.
The Diamond Dave years.
The Diamond Dave years, yes, absolutely. Of course, now rating these albums, it's like picking your favorite kid, right?
Well, how about we do this, Dave? How about we go down and pick our top 2 favorite songs from each album, and then we rank them.
Ooh,
I like that.
All right. Dave, you may have the honors. Van Halen 1, what are your 2 favorite tracks from that one?
If I had to take 2 songs to a deserted island forever, it would be On Fire and Atomic Punk.
Jason, what are your favorite 2 from Van Halen 1?
All right, here we go. I have Ain't Talking About Love and Feel Your Love Tonight. Ain't Talking About Love, obviously this album is loaded with memorable riffs.
Yeah.
And you can't even, like I said, it's like I said, Feel Your Love Tonight, a little more melodic and everything, and
all right. I'm going to have to say my second favorite, I'm going to do an order, 2 and then my favorite from the album. Number 2 from Van Halen 1 would have to be Little Dreamer. I like it because it's got a sexy stripper beat. It makes me want to take my clothes off with that, which I know none of you want me to do.
Right.
But my wife thinks it's kind of cool because I do a little strip routine to that.
So she tells you.
And to be honest, I think with Little Dreamer, you get to hear that Diamond Dave can actually sing a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
He's not
it's
just
a
all
different
rock.
style. It's a different style.
Right.
For him.
Yep. But number 1 would have to be Atomic Punk because of its screeching guitars.
Oh.
And I think it captures that live feel. You almost feel like that you're at a concert when you hear Atomic Punk. Dave? Van Halen 2.
Van Halen 2. Looking at this again, the story goes that these guys just got off tour, the '78 tour for the first album, opening for Black Sabbath, and they had very little time to get in the studio and wrap this one up and go back on tour sometime in like mid '79. And for that, I commend them because this is another masterpiece. DOA.
Yeah.
Nothing like that opening riff. And somebody get me a doctor.
Oh, okay. Go for it. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Some would say you may need one with that pick, but that's a good one. I'm just giving you a little ribbon here. Jason, your favorite too?
All right. Well, this song right here is my second favorite Van Halen song of all time.
Whoa.
That's strong.
DOA.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
Oh, yeah. Great minds think alike.
Start to finish.
Yep.
It's a home run. Second, and this is like, it's constant build up, Light Up the Sky. It's just boom. It starts right away, and we just keep going.
There you go.
Very, very close.
The fun ride. My number 2 from Van Halen 2, DOA. Yep.
Wow.
I mean, between the tribal drums, you know, Eddie's guitar just screeching and stuff, I almost feel like DOA is like if Diamond Dave was like in a book of the month club and he's telling you a story. You know what I mean? It's crazy and it's got a big buildup and it's almost like a rocker's orgasmic ending at the end of DOA.
I like that.
Very nice.
You know, that whole ending, bunch.
You
Love
go. You
Love
go.
it. And I know I'm going to get some shit for my number 1, but I'm going to say it. Dance the Night Away.
Whoa.
Oh, Jason, throw some shit at him. Bring it.
Wait. I think it's the coolest rock and pop song ever. I know it's pop, but it is so catchy and it makes the girls dance and it screams party to me. So I go Dance the Night Away. Women and Children First, your top 2.
Well, let me tell you about Women and Children First. It
Please
was
do.
the very first album that turned me on to Van Halen back in 1980.
Nice.
I was just getting off my Kiss thing that had been, for 4 years before that. And I don't remember where I saw that poster I pointed out earlier in like a music store. And I said, who are those guys? But I remember starting to hear, and the Cradle Will Rock and Everybody Wants Some. And I was like, oh my, wow. And it changed it changed everything for me. I was like, Kiss schmish. I put Kiss away in the drawer, set it tightly, and I was all about Van Halen from that point forward. And
nice.
This album is, it holds so many memories for me when it comes right down to it, especially now.
Your 2, come on.
It's gonna be Romeo Delight and Fools.
Oh. Jason, how about you?
All right. This was like, like I said, I'm a lot younger than you two, but like,
Pretty soon it's going to be 2 dudes, 1 band.
That's
right. But here's the thing: it's like the music industry in 1980. This is like you're talking like the height of the punk scene as well.
Yeah.
Here's the beauty of Van Halen. With Women and Children First, they kept that rock. They kept the rock going. They were a band that didn't change with the time. They kept it going. They actually expanded on rock, so they didn't fall into like any. They kept that strong presence going. My 2 songs are "Everybody Wants Some."
What?
I mean, yeah, everybody does want some. I had some the other night, but like, and then second song, I agree with my compadre, "Fools." It's got that cool bluesy stuff. That guitar, strong, heavy guitar as usual. Like those are my 2 picks.
All right, those are good ones. Like I said, with a band like this, there's really no wrong answers except for your guys's. But my number 3 is Simple Rhyme. I love the great build-up. I love the harmonies. And what makes it cool, and I know you guys are going to know this, and if you don't, I'm very disappointed in you boys. A part of me liking Simple Rhymes is that there's the hidden track after it. Do you remember the name of that song?
Yeah. Bump, 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 bump. Bam, bam, bam.
What's the name of the song?
Ooh. Ooh. We should know this. Do
I
tell.
do. I know it.
Do tell.
It's called Growth. I remember the hidden track, but I forgot the name. And that song was basically supposed to be the very first song on the next album, but they ended up scrapping it. But I thought, man, what a cool concept. Hidden tracks back then were like getting prizes in your cereal boxes. They were like,
Totally. Totally.
So, but my number one, everybody wants some. Come on. It's almost like a soundtrack to a Van Halen orgy with all their groupies. You know, that's just like such passion and just like grabbing your face and say, everybody wants some. So.
And you know what's funny about this album is, like Jason touched on, you know, what was going on in late 79, early 1980?
Disco.
These guys were just on their own path. They had their own minds.
Yeah.
They didn't do the "I was made for loving you" because everybody else was, you know, doing it. They were on. They stood their ground.
Yeah.
And high five to them for putting out yet another Van Halen gem.
Well, all right. I guess it's time to quit sucking off that album and go with Fair Warning.
Fair Warning. Okay, so this is when I was probably at the peak when I was a teenager, really. I bought these albums out of order. So I was listening to Fair Warning about, you know, right around 82, maybe early 83, wearing out the grooves. Just another unbelievable opus from the boys, top to bottom. Mean Street, that beginning riff, everybody talks about it. Guitarists that are 14 years old, you see, are worshiping that riff and tapping and doing that. Center Swing, by far the #1 song on that album for me. When I put that on the turntable and it got Center Swing, once it ended, I would put it back on Center Swing and put it back on Center Swing, and then let it bleed in to hear about it later and put it on the other side, which takes me to my #2. Yeah. Unchained. One of the most iconic riffs to this day, how Eddie does that, the distortion, the riff itself is unbelievable.
Jay?
All right. First one, this is that I choose, like Fair Warning. It came out the same year as MTV. So this was like, this was a huge change in the music industry for you younger people when MTV.
Right.
That's in 81. But like my first song, I'm gonna go with "Dirty Movies." Very like you're not gonna hear this on terrestrial radio.
No.
You're lucky to hear it on maybe on Sirius, but like I said, this is just like I said, it's one of those. I consider this a hidden gem. That's a lot of like, unless you're a true Van Halen fan like we are.
Take it off. Take it off.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then of course, my favorite of all time, also my favorite video of all time, Unchained.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Obviously, probably the coolest intro to a song maybe ever.
My #2 is probably Mean Streets. And the reason I like that song is it's almost like a musical. It's like the lyrics are a movie script. They can make a movie out of the picture that Diamond Dave is telling you about Mean Streets. And maybe they did. And I think the movie was called Colors. No, I don't know.
Yeah, tell us.
But Mean Streets is just badass. And then, of course, you got to go with the extra crispy crunch of Unchained with Eddie jumping into that song. And that's a kind of song that makes you want to beat your chest. It makes you want to take off your readers, take off your shirt.
Oh!
I tell you what, it makes you want to be Dave TV.
Wow.
Sorry. That's what Unchained does to me.
Oh my.
Point taken, Jim. Point taken. Woo!
Okay, I'll cover it up. I'll cover it up. Sorry. That's what that chain does to me, though.
We have children watching.
I know. I'm sorry.
It must be cold there that you have a sweater underneath your shirt.
That's called being a goddamn man like Diamond David Lee Roth, man. Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to Diver Down, Dave.
And by the way, I want a small correction here for you and our audience. I've heard so many people over the years call the song Mean Street, Mean Streets.
Oh.
Look at this. You see that?
Let's see. Move it over there. Yeah, Mean Street. You're right.
Bam! Mean Street.
You're right. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize.
On the radio.
Rookie mistake.
On the radio. That was Mean Streets. There's only one street, dude.
That's what they're going to call the movie, Mean Streets. All right, we move on. I appreciate the correction. Thank you. Diver Down.
The most exciting cover of all time, Diver Down.
Blown away.
It has some great moments for me.
Give us two.
Hang 'em High.
Nice.
Number one. I always wish that the band would have played that live, and they never did. I saw them on the 82. I saw them at the US Festival in 83. Or tour, and they never did that song. I was like, But Hang 'em High still stands up. I hope the band, if they ever get back with Dave, that song is that song's on my wish list. So Hang 'em High being number one, and I was going back and forth between two songs, and for number two is going to have to be The Full Bug.
Best part of a man.
Yeah.
I'm still getting over that album cover, the excitement, and this is an album I feel probably Dave influenced the most in regards to. Here's where I'm going with this. It's got a lot of covers. There's a lot of everything like that. We know Dave is the more like the theatrics. He's more of a theater. That's kind of his thing.
Right.
So like my two songs, this is how I feel. Hang 'em High to kind of go off, obviously top to bottom. And then I like, because we all like Dave said earlier, Eddie. Some say top guitarist of all time. Much debate everywhere, and that's always a great debate. Little guitarist with the intro. I mean, you're seeing when you get to see him do this live in concert, and everybody's just like quiet, staring at his fingers, because it's just amazing what this gentleman could do with the guitar. It's just unbelievable. So those are my two picks for Diver Down.
All right, I'm gonna have you two both get ready to throw some poo-poo in my direction, because spoiler alert, my least favorite album. So that's why I'm just going to my favorite song is Happy Trails, because it's over. That meant the album was done. Good couple gems you brought up, but Happy Trails, I was happy and I was waiting for the next project. Yes, I know. I said it, but I do love it when they do it live in concert. I think it's the coolest ending instead of just taking the bow whenever they harmonized and did the Happy Trails. And I'm going to go Pretty Woman just because that's the only song I can kind of sing a little bit at the karaoke bar. All right, 1984, Dave.
Wow. Yes. All right. So now we're talking going back to where it all started, the Baby. Bands typically released an album every year. Now it's like every 7 years, and that's the norm. Back then it was unheard of.
Hate it.
So it was unheard of for Van Halen to wait 2 years to put out their next album. But it finally came, and everyone was excited. And 1984 came at us. And of course, because I was such a huge fan, They Could Do No Wrong, and the video for Jump came out. And I watched it over and over and over again. And I love the song because I guess I had to. It's a great pop song. And then, of course,
the video was cool.
I got the full album, and Panama delivered, and there's some great songs. Me being the guy that seems to gravitate towards the harder rock songs, not just because they're heavier, but because of
Because you're metal, dude. You're
the
metal.
riffage, especially what Eddie delivers, he never you're never unsatisfied with anything he ever does. But top to bottom, for me, it's there is no close second for me, or close third or fourth or fifth. These two songs I can still crank today, and they actually seem like they belong on a different Van Halen album, and that is number 1, Drop Dead Legs.
Nice.
Dave and his swagger, and
Yeah.
the whole song is just amazing. And then, of course, House of Pain, which has a great riff, but it's also an old leftover from the 70s that Eddie decided to bring out, rework, and put it on the album, and absolute outstanding song.
All right, 1984. I was kind of, because I am much younger than both you. I have my introduction, not my introduction, but like the first cassette I bought from the Van Halen catalog was 1984, and like I said, MTV was in its height pretty much, and yeah, the Jump video. I mean, here's the thing that kind of makes me sad is that there's not enough David Lee Roth with Van Halen videos out there. So we got some really gems.
Agreed.
And the two songs that I go with, and I'll talk about the boring music aspect of this part, but like I'll Wait is my first one, because you're hearing that signature Alex drums that you almost know, like he has like you know it's a Van Halen song when you hear Alex play the drums. And obviously Michael Anthony's background vocals, very underrated. No one talks about that out there. He's a very, so I'll Wait is my first pick. And this one, because it's really one of my favorite videos as well, I got to go with Panama as my second. Just this awesome theatrics. No one looks cooler than David Lee Roth on the motorcycle, hair flowing, looking badass.
All right. Well said. And that was a fun tidbit, Dave, because my number 2 is House of Pain, because it reminds me of like sleazy rock. And that song, I never knew that, but I wrote down that song could have been on Women and Children First.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, my top one has to go with Panama, because of and it may be because of the video too. We are MTV babies. It showed the California lifestyle. We were growing up in Illinois. Jason and I are from Southside Chicago. Yay. That's where he's at now. I think it's that time. We got to wrap things up here, boys. This is a real, the one that hurts, but you have to rank all the albums, your least favorite up to your favorite. Dave, go.
Okay. Least favorite.
Whoa.
1984. Second least favorite album, Diver Down. Few absolute outstanding songs on there, but when it comes down to brass tacks, it's that. Third least favorite would be Van Halen 2. You know, you listen to it, especially now, it's timeless. That and Fair Warning were like this.
All right.
But I spent a little bit more time with Fair Warning as a teenager, so I had to give it to Fair Warning. Obviously, Fair Warning's next. Fair Warning's at number 3 of my favorite Van Halen albums of all time. Number 2, hint, the very first Van Halen album I discovered as a little teenager, Women and Children First. Great.
Okay.
And Beat the Drum, number 1, done.
Oh, look at that. All right, well said. Jason, go ahead. And it sucks to say my least favorite. We should say, because it's Van Halen. But yes, let's be honest with each other. Jason, what's your number 6?
These are the ones like, if you had to like go on an island real quick and they go, okay, rank, these are the only couple ones you can break, but anything below, everything, anyway, here we go. Number 6, Diver Down. Like I said, I think just because it's more of the covers than, Anyway, number 5, 1984. Number 4, I'm going to flip-flop here in a little bit. Women and Children First, my number 4. Number 3, Fair Warning. I think just having Unchained on there almost kind of bumps it up, And number 2, I know Van Halen 2. I mean, that's just where I'm at with that. DOA is on there, And And of course, number one, we're talking just like. First time I heard, quick story real fast on Jimmy Go. Last year was the first time I ever heard Eruption on vinyl.
Oh,
Literally tears in my eyes because it was like, I've heard that cassette for all those years on terrestrial radio, and hearing it on vinyl, amazing.
all right, cool. All right. Before I get in my list, Dave, me and my wife, Jackie, we're homeless. So I was wondering if on the fly, you could just flip up the covers that I say. Is that cool? All my shit's in storage right now. We're house sitting. So.
All right, I'll do the visuals.
And I want to give you a funny story. Back in junior high, before I give my list, back in junior high, I got into a big debate very similar to this. And I wasn't, in 8th grade, I wasn't the biggest Van Halen fan. I rocked a Kiss Destroyer belt buckle, and my buddy Dave Benevis had a Van Halen belt buckle, and we would get into fights of being, Kiss is cooler than Van Halen. No, Van Halen's cooler than Kiss. Dave Benevis, you are correct. Van Halen is way cooler than
I'm hoping he kicked your ass too.
Yeah. Here we go. My number 6 on the Van Halen list is Diver Down. Oh, you already knew it, didn't you, Dave?
Kinda. Really show us how you feel.
Number 5, Fair Warning is my number 5.
Whoa!
And it hurts because Unchained is on it, and I really, really, if it didn't have Unchained, you may as well have Gary Sharon singing it. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
You guys now, Jason, next week.
Right now, Ted Templeton's mad at you.
I know. Number 4, 1984, the keyboards is my number 4. It was tough because my number 3 is Van Halen 2.
Okay.
My number 2, Van Halen 1.
Oh!
Hold it up, Dave. Don't leave me hanging. You got to do it. And my number 1 is Women and Children First, because that one is, I based my list off of what albums do I listen to start to finish every time, and which one have I listened to the most. And I just did a gut check, and it ends up being Women and Children First.
Jimbo, I would go in the witness protection program if I were you.
All right. But you know what? Maybe you won't recognize me if I take my shirt off.
No!
And I put my shades back on, baby.
Oh, God, Jason.
All right, man. Well, we hope you enjoyed this. You probably enjoyed it a little bit less because I took my shirt off.
Ooh. Good times, guys.
I'll spare you a little bit.
Much better.
Okay.
Let's finish off the show just like that. You look splendid.
Thank you, sir.
Beautiful.
I get some leg tonight for sure.
Yeah. Don't show me what you got. No.
All right. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us. We'd like you to start your list, start your debates. Feel free to leave them in comments or message us. And I think we found out basically that Van Halen kicks ass.
Best.
That's Dave. That's Jason. I'm Jimbo, and we're what?
3 dudes.
3 dudes.
One
band. See you next time. See ya.